Good morning. Welcome to CyberNext DC. I'm Ari Schwartz. I'm the Managing Director for Cybersecurity Services at Venable, and I'm Executive Director for the Cybersecurity Coalition. We're proud to partner with the Cyber Threat Alliance, again, to bring you some really good content today. I'd like to also thank Venable for hosting us again. It's sort of a nice day right now. Well, the rain's not coming down, so you can go outside during the breaks if you want to do that. I'll say both the exits are this way. So in terms of getting out an emergency, and the women's bathroom's halfway down the floor, and the men's bathroom's all the way at the other end. For those looking for those things. We have one unfortunate note today. Of course, as everyone knows, the U.S. government is shut down. So our government speakers have backed out, as we sort of expected them to. We did have a plan B in place. So instead of having we've kind of filled in the slots on the panels, and then the keynotes where we had government speakers. We're having friends of ours who are from think tank partners come in and talk about some of the projects that they're doing that we're interested in, and having them give overviews of those projects, which we think will be interesting for everybody. We've done this before when we've had people back out last minute in an emergency, and it's worked really well. So this is kind of our contingency plan, since we like doing this we do the odd years in the fall, and then the even years in December because of the election. We're always at risk of a government shutdown in all those cases the past 5 years or so. So, we've been threatened many times. This is the first time where we've actually hit the shutdown, but we've always been prepared for this as we do this in our planning. So it has worked out this way this year. Thank you all for coming. We do have the advantage of, as I've been saying to people, being the only show in town. So we do appreciate that. We have really good panels, though, worth going forward with, very timely topics. So I think it will be a good day. In past years, I've taken this time to discuss the accomplishments of the Cybersecurity Coalition for the year. And it's indeed been a really good year for the Cybersecurity Coalition. We have new members of Charter Communications, CrowdStrike, Sienna, Veeam, and we're excited to have them all. But it shows that we're growing, and the topics we're focused on are relevant and continue to be relevant on the cybersecurity. And we try to stay ahead of issues as well, not just try to focus on the ones that are up in front of Congress or in the news every day, so that when they do come around in the news, we've already written about them, and we have content about them in place. But today I do want to talk about a pressing matter that's at hand. I've heard a lot of people talk about what was going to happen when the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act of 2015 expires, which has happened. And I'd like to talk about what's actually happening now. I've heard some people suggest that there would be immediate harm from the end of sharing that was greenlit by the law. And some people say that we shared before the law was in place and will continue to share at the same rate after, suggesting that there would be no difference. The truth is that neither of these opposing views are true. It's often been said that the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act removed barriers for sharing, and that is true. Those barriers are lawyers. It simply made the review for cybersecurity sharing much easier than in the past. Prior to 2015, private sector sharing groups, ISOs and ISACs and others, would often spend months, and in extreme cases, even years, debating antitrust agreements and privacy rules for information that would be shared. After 2015, these agreements were mostly done in days. Prior to 2015, the government would try to get companies to share information about incidents, only to be told that with the legal reviews it needed, were taking so long that the information was often not relevant by the time that it arrived at the government. Today, those lawyers are slowly being reinserted into these conversations and processes. Perhaps I shouldn't complain. We are at a law firm. I work at this law firm. We get these requests to review sharing agreements, so that I know that that's actually happening right now. However, I do realize where this is going. Less information is already being shared now. It is not a total end of information flows and will never be a total end of sharing. The longer we do not have the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act in place, the less information sharing we will see because of the legal reviews. This is unlikely to be harmful in October 2025. But as we get into 2026, it will be more and more evident to security professionals that it is harmful. Beyond the lack of information in the right place, at the right time to prevent an incident, there is another reason to support the reauthorization of the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act. For the 5 to 10 years prior to 2015, the main topic for us in cybersecurity policy was information sharing. For the 10 years since 2015, there's been relatively little or no discussion of information sharing compared to topics like vulnerability disclosure and the other major topics of the day, regulatory harmonization, new regulations on critical infrastructure sectors, et cetera. This happened because the law was successful. The critics of the law were not complaining. Those that wanted things that didn't make it into the law did not complain. The law just worked. Therefore, I ask Congress to please reauthorize the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act so that we can move on to other topics again, and the ones that really will maybe make a difference for the future. One final note on this subject. You may have noticed that I made it through the last 5 minutes on this topic without mentioning CISA. That is because some people seem to be either unintentionally or perhaps purposely confusing the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, founded in 2018, with the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act of 2015. I don't know if it'll work, but here's my theory. What if we try to push people in Washington to say the whole term so they can't use an acronym? They won't know what to do with themselves with no acronyms. Maybe they will just pass the legislation with one of the new acronyms that they can use. Speaking of 3-letter acronyms, it's my pleasure to move on to our first interlude from a partner organization, think tank, to give an overview of the Partners Cybersecurity Project. From IST, I'd like to introduce Megan Stiefel, Chief Strategy Officer, to talk about the ransomware task force. On to you, Megan.